Welcome Home, a podcast for veterans, about veterans by veterans, is a project of Willing Warriors and the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run.
Good morning. I'm your host, Larry Ziliaks, Director of Culinary Services here at the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run. And this week, our guest is Betsy Mercado. She's the Executive Director and a co-founder of an amazing organization called Objective Zero. And they are a nonprofit dedicated to combating military and veteran suicide through a connected peer support community. And they are one of the few that I know of organizations that's managed to integrate technology into the process and into the veteran service organization anti-suicide space in such a way that it's really amazing. They've created a app that can go on your phone. It's free. It's easy to use. I'm convinced that it's saved lives. It's that good. I have it on my phone. And so I asked Betsy to come and join us and tell us about the organization and the app. So if you would, just tell our listeners a little bit about how the organization got started. I understand that it was basically the brainchild of your husband, who's a veteran, and his buddy, and kind of took off from there. One thing I'm excited about is that next year in 2026, I think you'll be celebrating your 10-year anniversary.
That's right. Yes, 10 years next year. And the idea from Objective Zero really came in the fall of 2014 when Justin Miller, one of my fellow co-founders, was struggling with his transition out of the Army. Justin did all the right things. He reached out for help and couldn't be seen with a provider for 2 days. Luckily, Justin was sharing his struggles over Facebook, and my husband, Chris, saw it and reached out to Justin. And Chris is in the infantry. He only has the Army provided ACE training. And so he knew to ask Justin about suicide. And Justin's response was, had his weapon been loaded the night before, they wouldn't be talking. And so, I mean, how do you respond to that, you know? So Chris just kept Justin on the phone for over 6 hours, and Justin was just sharing his story, sharing his struggles, and was in a much better place. And so at the end of the call, Chris asked again, are you still thinking about hurting yourself? And Justin's response was, I feel so much better. I just needed someone to listen. And this is really what sparked the idea that the simple act of listening can save lives. And Chris really thought about it, wanted to see, like, how can we replicate this at scale? And so he had the idea, along with some amazing co-founders of ours, to come up with the Objective Zero app, because it really allows us to reach people where they are when you use technology.
And how do you go about just making an app? I mean, did Chris or somebody in the group, the co-founders, have experience in creating an app, or what's the next step there?
Luckily, a couple of our co-founders, Blake and Caleb Bassett, had some tech background and experience. And so Chris brought together this amazing experiences, mainly veterans and service members, and then myself, who's a spouse, and just really came up with the idea for it. And from there, we just started fundraising and did a Kickstarter to get us off the ground, to kind of create this minimal viable product, and just had such amazing buy-in from not just the people, our friends and family, but kind of the greater military community at large, because they saw this was a new and innovative way to get people connected. And at the time, I think things were a lot worse when it came to veterans getting support, stigma, service members getting support and stigma. And so, yeah, a lot of amazing people, a lot of amazing support that really helped us get off the ground.
Kickstarter is an unusual funding platform, mostly because everybody that brings something to Kickstarter usually has a product, and somebody gives them money based on the product, and they'll be one of the first to get it, and they think it's a great product. But in your case, it was straight up donations. You guys didn't have a product. These people, how many people gave money through Kickstarter? Do you remember?
It was over 400 people.
Wow.
We raised $38,000 in a month.
Wow.
And so we had some incentives. We did some challenge coins, some T-shirts, and some handwritten letters as thank yous to every person that donated.
Mm.
But I think when others outside of our network and our support system saw the value in it, were willing to give, that's how we really knew that we were onto something good.
Mm. Wow. What's been the biggest challenge? I'm certain that creating an app to deal with mental health and peer support is a challenge in and of itself. But once you got the app up and running, what did you find was the biggest challenge for the organization? Is it getting the word out? Is it constantly upgrading the app? Is it making sure that, there's enough peer supporters, what you guys call Pathfinders, which I really like? What was your biggest challenge?
Every described our biggest challenges at some point. Objective Zero was and is still a very small team. We have 2 full-time employees, a part-time, and we really rely on the support network of
Mm.
our volunteers. We have almost 3,000 of them in all 50 states and in 28 countries, which is something we're really proud of. And it's our volunteers that really allow us to make the impact and difference, so that when we're getting funding, whether from grants or individual donors or wherever that funding is coming in, we can pour that into the technology. And so we're constantly improving and building new updates, integrations as technology improves and there's more opportunities available for us to include evidence-based informed tools and resources.
So describe for our listeners how the app actually works. I mean, I'm looking at it now on my phone, and one of the things that I like best about it is right up front. The very first thing you see is contact a Pathfinder, which is basically, you know, hit this button and get some peer support. How does it work for just our listeners? They don't, maybe they're not, all that proficient with their phone, especially when you're talking about somebody such as myself, a little bit older veteran. But what is it? What do they have to do to get the app?
The app is available. The Objective Zero app is available on Google Play and Apple App Store. It's free to download, it's free to use, and we really wanted to make it as simple as possible to get connected to support. So when you download the app, all you need to provide is a handle and your email address. And then from there, you can provide as much or as little information as you want. You can build a profile. And when you build a profile, it really helps us match you to other Pathfinders. And that's something that's really special about Objective Zero, because we have about 3,000 people willing to provide support. Our community members, our app users, have the ability to either tap one button and connect to that first Pathfinder that's available, or they can filter through our network to find someone most like them. And some of these filterable options include your age, gender, your location, branch of service, your connection to the military, because we also include not just service members and veterans, but their families and caregivers and those that support veterans, as well as your military specialty while you served, where you deployed to, and the units that you've served in. And so for us, we've learned that when you're able to connect to someone that has a similar background, it creates the shortcut to trust. We have, like I said, so many thousands of people available, willing to talk on their own time. They're there because they want to help and support others.
And how does a veteran go about volunteering to be a Pathfinder peer supporter?
And can come and volunteer if you're looking to give support. You go to our website, objectivezero.org, and you hit the Give Support button, and you can sign up through our website. And we do some onboarding, some one-on-one onboarding, and then we provide over 20 hours of training. And that's kind of from your basic baseline suicide prevention training, like Operation Safe that the VA has, everything to crisis response plan training and lethal means safety. And those are virtual live courses that we do in partnership with the Strongstar Institute. And so you can do training on your own through our portal at PsychArmor. And then we offer additional opportunities to get more training, so that we have our Pathfinders as comfortable as possible as they take the calls and texts from those reaching out for support.
Talk a little bit about, well, first of all, listeners, the webpage is objectivezero.org. Objectivezero.org. I want everybody to go to it. There's a lot more there than just the app, okay? There's resources, there's training, there's a tremendous amount on the webpage. So I want everybody to go to the webpage, check it out, see what's on there, post in your social media about the webpage and the resources that are there, and post links to the app so other veterans learn about it. And my regular listeners are going to know what I'm going to say right now is that up in that right-hand corner where it's usually a red button, it's actually a white button, and it says donate. And so bang on that button and give what you can. This app is amazing, and I can't even imagine what it costs to keep it up and running. But this organization is almost ready to celebrate their 10th anniversary. So certainly somebody who's been around for a while, they will spend your money wisely. And so please, please hit the donate button and give what you can, and then spread the word about the organization as well. When it comes to funding, what are your main sources of funding?
Currently, it's mostly grant funding. We work in the states of Maryland and Virginia. We have some great reoccurring donors from CTIA Wireless Foundation, John Valor Foundation, and then we get some additional support from organizations like Amazon. We're part of Face the Fight Coalition and have received money from that organization as well, so that we can maintain and improve the evidence-based features within the app. And one thing that I did not mention, if you don't mind me just adding really quick,
Sure.
in addition to the peer support within the app, we have a host of tools and training and resources. So if you're looking for resources that kind of address many of the everyday stressors that our service members and veterans face, we have suicide screenings, opioid screenings, and a mood journal and symptom and energy tracker as well. So if you're not looking for peer support, you may be looking for a tool that can just help you with your everyday wellness. You can use the Objective Zero app for that as well.
Let's talk a little bit about, you're collecting all this information from all of these veterans that are calling that need help. And are you able to use it anonymously for evidence-based research?
At this point, we have not. We provide anonymized data to some of our partners, to the VA, so they understand some of the issues that the veterans are reaching out are using,
Right.
or the issues that they're experiencing. And so we're open to working with a university, researchers, so that we can provide this data, because we want to use it for good. We don't sell our data. It's kept in-house. And so it's really important for us to keep that data private and secure, but we know that there are some amazing ways that we can use it. So, if anyone's listening that is interested in working with us on doing a research project, research study, we would absolutely love that as well.
Have you gotten any feedback from the VA that where they've come back and said, this is very valuable, here's what we found?
An amazing relationship with the VA, specifically with the Office of Suicide Prevention. And so we work with their team kind of on a quarterly basis, sharing different resources and such. We're a community partner of the VA, so they're actually sharing this with the veterans within the VA system. And one of our goals is actually, how can we get more veterans enrolled in VA benefits, those amazing benefits they've earned that maybe they're hesitant, or they don't know what's available to them. And so that's one of our goals as well, is to make sure that we're getting those veterans and service members reaching out, connected to the things that they've earned and are available to them.
How do you do that? How do you use something on the app, which, like a pop-up and said, hey, have you registered with the VA, or how do you push that towards them?
Actually recently introduced at the beginning of the year, I guess about 10 months ago, a dynamic social needs assessment. So when you download the app, you have the opportunity to fill it out.
Mm.
And so one of the things that we're looking at is how many people are connected to the VA. And even in conversations from our community members with that Pathfinder, one of the goals of our Pathfinders is understanding the needs and helping veterans get connected to additional resources should they need them. And so a lot of it is lived experience on behalf of our Pathfinders, because most of them have already transitioned out and have experienced it. And if we can't help them, we can get them connected to other resources that do help with benefits. So, whether it's the VA or another organization.
What do you see as far as trending models for veteran suicide? Do you see it leveling off or decreasing? I mean, where we really only have the VA statistics to go on each year, other than Operation Deep Dive, but that's almost 4 years old now. What do you guys as an organization see when you're looking at your data internally? What are you seeing?
That's a fantastic question. We're seeing more people reaching out for support, and I think that's a good thing. And on top of that, they're reaching out before they're in crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that we're doing, I think, a great job of in terms of our marketing, that we want to make sure that we can address these issues when they're the small problems. Maybe it's I'm transitioning and I don't know where to do, I don't know where to look to help guide my career after the military. And we can get them connected to a place like Onward Ops that does amazing career coaching. And for post-transition, I'm really struggling to make ends meet. Let's see where we can find some local resources or national resources to get someone connected to immediate financial support, because we know, specifically when it comes to finances, if a veteran misses a mortgage payment or their car has been repossessed, they're at tremendously higher risk of suicide. And so I think I see it trending that we're helping people quicker, more upstream of the problem.
What impact do you see AI having on your particular app, but on just being able to deliver some sort of technological solutions to this issue?
I think technology is amazing. And I also want to caveat it that I don't think technology is ever going to replicate or replace human connection, nor should it. And so for us at Objective Zero, it's really important that we are focused on the person. Humans are more important than hardware or software. And so for us, we're using AI in a ways that accompany the tools and the training and the resources that we're providing. So we're using AI kind of on our back end in a way that's doing sentiment analysis on conversations. We're doing analysis on the needs assessments and how someone's using the app, so that we can increase usage, that we can provide the tools, the resources that are needed, that maybe we don't have currently within the app. And so for us, it's how can we use AI for good? How do we use technology for good with keeping that human-centric approach kind of at the forefront of everything we do?
And when you look at the veterans that are using the app and reaching out for help, what do you see as the number one issue that they come needing help with?
One of the biggest ones lately has been issues with sleep and insomnia. Many people are reaching out late at night, early morning, because they can't sleep. And that could be tied to, a number of factors, to include post-traumatic stress. They can't sleep because of nightmares, or, they've got a lot on their mind, or simply they're just lonely and they can't sleep and they just need that connection to someone. And so it varies over time. Sometimes it's financial issues or relationship issues, or we have family members that are reaching out on behalf of a veteran because they just don't know how to best support them. And so it really does vary.
How do you handle that from a Pathfinder perspective? Do you have Pathfinders staying up all night in case there's a call, or how does that work? I mean, most people, volunteers that I know, are asleep at night. So how does it work?
The wonderful thing about our volunteers is that they're located across the world. And so I have, in America, have helped a service member in Korea. I've supported someone in Australia. Because of the time zones and the time changes, that volunteer network really does activate in a way that we couldn't as a paid staff. And so that's really what keeps us available 24/7 is people around the world willing to support us.
Wow. Where do you see Objective Zero in 5 to 7 years?
Fantastic question. One of the goals for Objective Zero is this point of functional zero. And that is the point at which a person's service or connection to the military is no longer a distinguishing factor in suicide. And for us, it really is, how do we find ways to ensure that because someone has served, it's not that additional risk factor. And so for us, it really is growing to better support those that have served. And so it's going to be doing a lot of outreach over the next couple of years. And it's also trying to stay kind of in line with the technological advances. And as more research comes available and as more tools pop up, integrating those in a way that is helpful and not harmful and really does support our service members, veterans, and family members.
Well, listeners, the webpage is objectivezero.org. Want everybody to visit the webpage, spread the word. And you guys are part of the marketing, really. Once you go, look at the resources, think about those you served with, and forward that link and say, hey, check this out, and ask them to forward the link and share it on social media. And while you're there, hit that donate button. But this is an amazing organization that's in the veteran service organization space that's doing something that I don't think any other organization is doing. This app is really the gold standard when it comes to finding a way to use technology to help combat veteran and military suicide. And the fact that anybody military connected can log on, download it, and use it. And let's not forget, we have many active duty service members that take their own life. We have dependents. I think the last numbers I saw from DOD was 45 dependents from teenage up to adult spouse took their own lives in 1 year. And so this needs to be a resource that everybody is aware of because they have the capacity to help. There's no limit as to number of people who can log on. And so please get that link to the webpage out there and share it and donate and really do whatever you can to get the word out. Well, Betsy, listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on and explaining everything to our listeners. This is such a valuable resource. It's really been a pleasure to speak with you.
It was wonderful talking with you, Larry, as well. Thank you so much for allowing me to share Objective Zero with you and all of your listeners.
Well, listeners, we'll have another episode next Monday morning at 0500. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can reach us at podcast@willingwarriors.org. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms. We're on YouTube and Wreaths Across America Radio. Until then, thanks for listening.
The Welcome Home podcast is brought to you by Willing Warriors, a nonprofit organization serving active duty service members and veterans since 2012. To learn more, please visit our webpage at willingwarriors.org.